Sanibonani, welcome back to another episode of Hearty Thursdays. Mama Wezizwe Sibia, and I am here to fill your hearts with art. In this podcast, we talk about art. We talk to the people that make the art, the people behind the people that make the art, and the people that make the art, but a lot of people don't know that they do. Today, we are in for a special treat as we sit down with someone who actually believed in me. He did not even give me the opportunity to figure out whether I was ready or not, or to even believe in myself. I said I want to start a podcast, and he was like, when are we shooting, Mama? So the only question that was left for me was when and not how. And I'm very excited today to have Nino, who was with us behind the scenes for 17 episodes in season 1. Welcome to the episode, Nino. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. No, really honored to be. I think many greats have sat on the seat, and not only the ones that are always visible to the public, even the ones that are always backstage or really doing their thing. So really honored to be here. Sure. This is episode 26.
Can you remember episode
milestone?
1?
This is a milestone. This is huge.
It
so
is.
Grateful to be a part of it, and grateful to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. So your name is Crescendo.
Definitely. Crescendo's my full name. Yeah.
Okay, welcome Crescendo.
Thank you.
It's fantastic to have you here. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Where were you born? Your background?
So I am from a township called Park, which is in the east of Joburg. That's where I was born. My mom later on moved to Katlehong, got married there. My stepdad, an awesome guy. And
So the first question, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where were you born? Your background?
so I was born in Park, little town called Park, Boksburg. Yeah, lovely castle, lovely township. But also grew up in Katlehong. My mom got married to my stepdad, and they moved to Katlehong. I moved with them. And then when it was time for school, I was back in Park because schools are there, colored, Afrikaans speaking. But it was between weekends and holidays, Katlehong. And then during school times, I would be in Park with my granny. That was mostly.
How is it like? Can you tell me about your journey from there to where you are today?
Okay. I think it was really cool. Just growing up in Park, and I think the love for just music and arts was always a big thing. The schools around there when I was younger had this whole drum majorette type of vibes happening. That was one of the first beats that I really loved, and I still know it out of my head. And then I was part of a creative art or dance team from the church since young.
Was it the tap dance or was
it wasn't tap dance? It was more of your spiritual dancing. That's what you would call it. So it's more of a contemporary feel with worship music.
That's interesting. I've never seen anything like that.
Really?
Yes.
Blessed.
Been missing out.
It's really cool. I think that really, I think the church in my area was one of the big things that really moved me into arts, because the live music and instruments is where we found it. The dancing and the groups was also there, and that was my first exposure mainly from the love of just arts and so forth.
Wow, that's interesting. So from school you were playing
Yes.
Madrido, and then at church also. I think church is not appreciated enough. I think it has made a lot of good musicians. It has produced a lot of good musicians.
Many would say that's where church choir. That's where many would say that's our roots. I think I was really grateful my matric year. Not matric. I think most of high school. The churches that I've been part of allowed myself and other musician friends to go anytime during the week, sit on the drums, practice or rehearse or play around, and other times we broke stuff, but there was always that freedom of going there and doing that.
That's dope, because these instruments are quite expensive. Like maybe if you're a teenager and you really want to learn and like your parents can afford, and then now that means you can't get the opportunity, but church is there for free. I think that's very interesting. You started drumming at a very young age. Can you share with us how your passion for drumming was first ignited? Like, can you trace it back to one specific moment where you were like, I want to do this forever?
Yeah, one specific moment was early mornings, maybe 5, 6 in the morning, Saturday morning, and hearing from far drumming coming closer and closer, don't majorate stuff. And then I would run to the gate, watch them, and so forth. One afternoon, remember many years ago, our dustbins was that iron piece of dustbin.
Yes.
Our drum on that, my cousin ran out, because that's what we do. When we hear it, we run out to the gate to check them pass. He ran out, and it was me on the.
That's dope.
So those are two moments that I really think of that before getting into the conventional kit drum.
Wow, that's dope. And then now you host sessions where you teach people drumming. How do you adapt those sessions to be suitable for like diverse audiences?
Interesting. So the djembe drum, which is the instrument that I really love most, or my main instrument currently. I got to play it in 2013 when I was on a youth organization trip with creative artists. So that's why I started playing the djembe, and just fast forward to that. I just fell in love with it, created and opened lots of spaces and doors, but one of those spaces is really just having drum circles or creative sessions. So either with teaching kids or sitting in drum circles where you are different crowds, it's really good. So it's always starting from basics when you're sitting with sessions, especially with people who never played before, starting from the basics, and then in the middle of the session or close to the end, you just vibe and play around, and it's always good.
I'm sure. I've seen people like at first they kind of like, nah, I can't play. But like once you play just a few times, the djembe is gonna convince you that no, I've got this thing, and I've got it. It's always interesting. In high school, you were dancing. How did being part of a dance group influence your part in the arts?
Sure. So we were with a group called Lord of the Dance. There was one great teacher. His name was Djembe. He's passed away now. Some complications health-wise. He was my dance teacher, my youth leader, at church, the praise and worship leader. He was that big brother, that mentor. That guy really inspired us. But with Lord of the Dance, we really traveled a lot. Well, mostly around Joburg. Rainbow FM, which is a station, Florida. It's a Christian radio station. They had concerts called All for the Love of Jesus concerts, and they would travel around the cities and host those concerts. And they even changed the name after a year or so, from All for the Love of Jesus Music Festival to Music and Dance Festival. So we got to be exposed to, I'm thinking of some of the biggest stages that we performed at was your Easter Rand show. There was one Joburg Stadium, which is close by here. Grace Bible Church, there was about 5,000 people attending that day.
How is that experience? Like, how is it like?
It's crazy, it's beautiful. We had this entrance or this part where we do in our routine where I would start on the drum, just go crazy, nice rhythms, and they would come in with flags and what, and then we drop it and we'd go into heavy sequence. Beautiful.
I can't imagine. Like, would you want to do something like that, like now, currently?
Yes.
Is it in the plans?
Yes. So currently, I mean, we're shooting this in December. Sorry if I said that. But in the holidays, I'm going on a tour as Nino, Neels, myself, and two other musicians, and we're gonna do the coasts from Jeffreys Bay, PE. There's a nice river called Haga there. Coffee Bay, Port St. John's, Port Shepstone. That's where we're ending from the 26th up until New Year's.
Wow, that's dope. I wish I lived near the coast. I was gonna experience that. Is that who are you traveling? Who are you touring with?
So, on one of my hiking excursions, I came across a place called Amapondo, which is in Port St. John's. It's a backpackers place. So I stayed in contact with some of the people, checked what they do, followed them on their page, and the lady there just inboxed me and say, "Yo, we are a backpackers. We've got this festival during this time. Would you want to come through with your band? And if you come through, this is how much we're giving you. This is half a tank of petrol as well, plus contacts of my other affiliated backpackers." So I contact them all and they booked me, so I'm doing a whole tour.
That's dope. That's dope. That's the importance of putting yourself out there and getting to know people.
No, definitely.
No, that's wow.
So I'm excited for it. I spoke to some of the guys earlier today that's going with me. I said that it's not my first tour that I've done like this. I mean, counting all the days since high school with the dance team and the youth group that I've traveled with abroad as well, to actually this one. You know, it's not my first, but it's the first as a musician, as a artist or established artist or getting there, something like that.
No, that's very exciting. That's exciting stuff. What would you say were some of your memorable experiences from like the early shows or events?
Memorable was your when we performed at Grace Bible Church. That time there were many great artists who also performed the same day on that stage. It was a big festival. It was really, really special. I was so nervous, and we opened the show basically. I as I entered the stage, I was sitting there. There was a big countdown clock, and when it came to 5 or 10 seconds, everyone shouted and counted down, and then they said 0. I paused still for a few seconds before actually starting. So that's very special. One of those special moments. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so to take you back, in 2011, you attended Latitude's Art School. I know that it's in Kingston. What did you study there?
Performing arts. This was.
Would you say performing arts? What would you say was your first love to drumming? Because I know that you also went to the Market Theatre. Between drumming, performing arts, and music, or dance.
I think it could always be music and drumming. That's always my first one. But really appreciating art as a whole. Really appreciating that. I go crazy for it.
No, I get it. How was it then, studying performing arts?
It was good. Very shout out to the leaders or the guys who started it. Sheeny was our tap dancing teacher. He was so amazing. And then John Latta, an actor who they came together and created a school. So I joined them, and it was a special year, man. A really beautiful year. Getting just being amongst artists every day, doing your classes on a stage every day. That's special. It doesn't get more special than that. So it was really a good experience.
And how would you say that, or like formal training, how would you say it has impacted your artistic development?
I think formal training in any way is really just good. What I did there was, music was one of the big things that I really love. Just jazz in the whole. as a whole, just jazz music and really seeing how it comes together or the backgrounds of it. Tap dance, that was the first. I've never did tap before that. Always seen it somewhere far away. But tap dance as a first was really special to do. Got exposed to that. Obviously acting, drama. We did a bit of script writing as well. So just the arts as a whole and the packaging and how everything comes together or we pull from one another. So that's just good.
And would you say you still want to explore some of those things, for instance, the acting or the script writing, or are you?
Interesting.
Because I saw those videos and some of the skits online.
If opportunities arise, definitely. If opportunities arise, I will definitely still continue doing them. We are still busy with those skits, actually. We are still busy with them. But I love art, so whatever opportunity comes up and I can do it, let's go for it.
As long as there's the creativity involved in it, you are there. I also revel in the magic of the creative process. You spent some time with Youth for Christ, both in Germany and in KZN, doing creative arts ministry. What is that creative arts ministry? And also, can you tell me a little bit more about these experiences?
Okay. So church is about preaching Jesus. And church is about or drawing people closer to him. Whether it's the preacher or through the music, the worship music that we do. The creative arts, it's just using different elements like the dancing that we did previously, or the drumming, or rap, or spoken word. Just using those as a tool to spread the gospel as well. So joining Youth for Christ was something good, because that was two things that I really love. Was really church and my belief, but also really merging it with being creative.
I'm sure that felt amazing.
That's the thing. I think being from spaces that we from, like, it's very weird. One pastor one day asked me, "What are you doing? Why don't you go get a proper job?" I'm like, bruh, do you understand what I'm doing? But I think when I got that opportunity, I was really good, and I got to travel abroad. I think the Germany trip was really good. One big lesson I got out of that was ready for anything. They call it RFA, ready for anything. That's why when you said that I want to start a podcast, let's go. It was really
Where
RFA.
are we shooting?
RFA is crazy, man.
That's good.
I'm actually still learning to pause and to think and plan things. Because of the RFA method, so I have to unlearn some certain things sometimes. It's not always good to just go, let's jump, So
That's true, but I do know that had you not asked me when are we shooting, I'd probably still be planning to shoot the first episode even now. But now 2 years later we're on episode 26, and all the things that I learned between then and now, I wouldn't have learned any other way outside of actually doing the thing.
No, definitely.
So, but I do get what you're saying, because sometimes planning does help, because you can avoid a lot of things. I guess just finding a good balance between your RFA and and how did those experiences shape your perspective on arts and its impact on communities?
I think firstly it was travel. It's really good for any person. Any person should actually, or every person should actually start traveling, or even if it doesn't have to be far away, it just broadens the mind a lot. Earlier on we were speaking about these portals, little things like that just broadens one's mind.
That's
because
true.
you get to explore.
Yeah.
So that was one big thing, and meeting different people. And when I was in Germany, there was a big language barrier. In KZN, especially when you go to deep rural areas. Not as much, because I grew up in Katlehong, a bit multilingual, so it helped. But in areas where you really can't speak to someone, that dancing or that small skits or that drumming probably speaks to them, or you hope that it does. So that helps with language barriers as well. So things like that was also one of those lessons.
Yeah. I think that's what I love most about art, because it can say the things that words cannot. It's like, words can say stuff, but there's just some things that can be communicated even outside of words. And I think that's something that you also say, that even telling our stories, it doesn't necessarily have to be just through
doesn't have to
the
be.
words, but even the drum can tell you, the music can take you, the dancing can also tell you the story.
And dancing is one of those tools where you actually use your whole body to communicate. Crazy.
That's amazing. I wanna learn that. I have a piece that I'm working on, and I know that I probably should get a professional dancer, but I'm like, why can't I learn to do this? I want to be able to say stuff with my body as well, but I'll learn. Tell me about Hope Drum.
An initiative after doing Durban with Youth for Christ, I came back home and I started Hope Drum with the kids down my road in the community. I got some drums together and we started playing, and that turned out to be a project where not only did we drum with them every afternoon, but tried to do a bit of life skills, a bit of mentoring with them, and that's where Hope Drum just grew. And then after 2 or 3 years, we slowed down a bit with Hope Drum because the drum starts breaking. Drum starts breaking, and I think I should have learned more about just organizational skills, or raising funds, or applying for things, where we can sustain. It wasn't sustainable because most of those drums were Djembe drums are expensive, and I had to buy most of them.
I understand. What inspired you to even create this group, and what has been the impact on the young participants?
Arts saved me. Arts saved me from a community like Reiche Park, where crimes, drugs, killing, gangs is the thing of the day, the thing that they do, and the arts moved me away from chilling with the guys in the corner to finding myself alone somewhere in the church drumming, or practicing or rehearsing, or going to the dance rehearsals. So that space really saved me. So I've learned after all my tours in Germany and Durban, coming back, that the kids probably need that, and they did. A few weeks back, one of the aunties sent me a message late night, and I was awake. Nino, you must come and speak to my boy. He just came home now and it's getting out of hand. That now I will, and I still have to make that time to go and see him. But and this is one of the aunties I don't really, but they saw the value in Hope Drum.
Yes.
And that's when I realized as well, like I always knew, but I realized that these things were very important to them.
Ish, I think something needs to be done. Like we need third places for the kids, because they have school, they have home, but they don't have a third place, and they end up on the streets because there's nowhere else to go. The adults, they have their taverns and the places where they go chill, and then there's just nothing for the kids. I think it's very important to have these kind of things and to get the support when they exist also. Can you talk about the therapeutic power of drumming and its impact?
Sure. Music is very healing. Music is very, very healing. I think I've got to learn that through playing the djembe, where I got invited to couples therapy sessions or rehab centers or children hospitals. And every time you just play, it's a space where they get to relax, a space where they get to reflect and just receive, receive healing. So it's very therapeutic. From our drum circles as well, people are stressed, and I think post COVID it's been even worse mental health wise. And
People lost a lot during COVID.
people lost a lot, and having those drum circles were really amazing. They needed a place to go and just beat something.
And at least it sounds nice. You're not just beating anything. Or
But music therapy in a whole is as a whole is really good. It's really it's refreshing. It helps. The drum has vibrations and
connects you.
Connects
I hope you can. Sometimes we don't see how important the work that we're doing is. I hope you do see what you are doing for us and the people. You hosted a couple of talent shows in your community, and you also hosted a dance group from Bloemfontein. Can you share some highlights from these experiences?
Those were amazing years. So always having this thing that Rega Park is a place that has so much talent and needs more and more exposure. And because I needed to leave there to realize that they need more and more exposure to it. Some friends that I've met through the Germany trip, they came back as well. Actually, the teacher there, Warren, he was 2 years ahead of us. I met him on training before we went to Germany. So the time we came back, he was already a teacher at the school in Bloemfontein. And they were doing productions. He was moving around with a team to national arts theaters and so forth. And like, yo, Warren, I've got a show. Or I called him and said, bro, if we book you to come and do something, would you come? He's like, yes, please. Because the students you teach, you need to give them more exposure. And we set that up and we got them to come. And then 4 years after that, they came again. Every year with a fresh set of students doing some beautiful shows. And they had dance, and this was just dance theater. They had shows like I Am African or I Am South Africa, something like that. Blood, Sweat and Tears, Eagle. There was another one, Purple Rain. Those were 4 shows that they came and performed, and our people were like, wow, this is beautiful, but I don't understand. Because dance theaters just dance and music, no talking anything, and try to catch, oh, I see, oh, that's what, yeah. So that was really special, trying to host that. Talent shows was really just to exposure, trying to encourage art and just exposure in our community. Yeah, those were the shows.
That's dope. You've been doing the work. How do you incorporate elements of Pan-Africanism and cultural storytelling, like in your workshops and in your music?
This coming weekend, there's a group from the States coming, and I was asked to or booked to come and do a workshop, drumming workshop. But they said, please tell some folks tales as well in it. So those are some of the ways the way I incorporate that. Whenever I do a workshop, I would share the history of the Djembe drum, which is Akaje Akabe. It's one of the Mali languages. It means coming together in peace. So when we sit there, you so little stories like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Ukuthula was a stage production that we wrote, myself and a friend who was part of the dance school as well, in my Germany trip, Ayanda. We wrote a stage play that was based on drumming and contemporary dancing, but we added that spoken words element to it so that people can understand more. It was sharing African stories, but really sharing peace and how peace is so important. Because I think, again, post-COVID, marriages, families, mental health, and we felt that this is a message that people need. Is really peace.
That's true, and it's like, what better way to pass such messages except for music? Because like everyone connects with music. Whoever you are, you connect with music. That's amazing. You're very passionate about people, and I am so grateful that our paths crossed. Can you tell me about the development running club?
Yes. And I think because I was always up and down doing this and that, being part of this development club has really been good. Growing up, there was two people that played a very big role in my life. They were a white couple that came to a colored kasi, and met with a group of kids every afternoon, once an afternoon in Rega Park. Well, it was Rega Park, but the next day they would be in different areas as well. And they would come, they would preach to us, we'd do music, they would do puppet shows, would face painting and, okay, not much face painting, but kids programs that led us there. And really learned so much, my faith, and just learned a lot from them. One day he was playing guitar. I think something happened, or they were hijacked the day before or something. The sound was stolen. So he came with his guitar and still carried on like nothing happened the next day. I picked up a few tons and boxes and joined him there. And he allowed me to do that. He didn't chase me away, and just also one of those special moments. But later on we lost a bit of contact, and then I got in touch with them when I was on a Germany trip, and I said, yo, thanks for the impact and input over the years. This is where I am, this is what I'm doing, and you guys did a lot for me, And then coming back, fast forward, I joined them in Vredendorp, which is a little community right after Bramfontein. And they were doing this program similar to what they were doing in the park for many years. And now I'm heading the update program. So it's an after school program. Kids come, we help them with homework, we do a bit of arts, we do a bit of sports, and there's about 60 kids, 50 to 60 kids coming weekly.
Wow, that's very impressive. So I want to talk about Ukuthula in detail, from conception to where it is right now.
It started with myself and my friend Ayanda. We were sitting and said, let's do a production. Okay, let's go. And we started writing the story, and it was something that took us about 3-4 years. And even to date, we never had the stage play yet, because he was studying in Bloemfontein, and then he was teaching now at the school, and then touring with the groups to the art theater and Makufe festivals and all the festivals. So he was busy, I was back in Joburg, I was busy, so it never materialized. And then last year I called him again and like, yo, we've got this music that we've created. I'm gonna go ahead and have a stage production and record it, and he gave me a go ahead. So because the concept was based for stage, I needed to do a live recording in front of an audience. I called a couple of musicians around, session musicians. It turned out a bit jazzy, which is beautiful. Afro jazz is beautiful, but it was still a beautiful one of my proudest moments of doing a project.
Yeah, no. It's I've seen bits and pieces here and there. It's amazing, and I listened also to the song Ukuthula. It's also great. It's like, yeah, you are preaching peace for real, and it's dope. It's dope. Over the years, what has been some of the biggest challenges that you've faced as a professional drummer or facilitator?
Some of the challenges is obviously information, and then when you get information, like just funding or getting funding, and when you get information, you apply. Most of these things never get approved. At some point, you realize that maybe because my surname is Neels, they look at it, we can't give this to Neels.
Another Neels ish.
Maybe colored, but those were my struggles, really just getting funding and continuing with some of the projects, like Pot Pop, which was the skits. At some point, most of the things that we'd done was out of my budget, the lighting, the equipment.
Can you imagine that can be
transport, it's, so, yeah. So, but it's also that RFA thing that I'm trying to learn, because I'm like, I've got an idea, let's go for it.
Let's do it now.
And then later on, maybe I should have planned that properly. But struggles are mostly
the support, the
financial support. Yes.
I understand, and I hope that sometime soon we are going to find a solution, like us as the creatives, for ourselves, to be like, how can we make sure that we can support each other financially? I hope we can have a conversation and actually find solutions.
Important, yeah.
Because also depending on non-creatives to fund this, it might be very tricky. How's your experience at the Market Theatre?
Beautiful. I was just doing the short courses. I did level 1 and 2. Didn't go back to 3. Time-wise, it wasn't working out. But obviously, again, being in that space again, it's really refreshing. But learning about acting and just feeding off of others' energies. I mean, it's really, 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 it was special. The Market Theatre was really, really special. Grew a lot as an artist and on actor, if I can say that.
I was part of the Teen Town program. I wanted to be a part of the Market Theatre program, but that was when I was still trying to figure out what it is exactly that I want to do. But now I know that I don't necessarily want to be an actor, but like director, producer, and scriptwriter. But because I didn't understand the roles that are there for like a full production or for like even like a film or anything, I was just like, I know I want to be a part of this thing. But it helped me, it led me here to the understanding.
What's nice about the program, the part-time program, it's 12 weeks, and it's not really for aspiring actors, In my class, there was actually someone who was already on local soapies. I didn't even know. I don't watch TV.
Wow.
Because they were laughing at me when I asked him.
You were going to school with a celeb and you didn't know.
Yo, every day in class. But it's a setup for. Don't necessarily need to be an experienced actor, but it's a setup where it's really recreational. It's something you can do just to take your stress away from the week, from work, from anything. It's a good space, really good space.
Maybe I should consider it like sometime in the future. I could probably learn a lot, especially since I want to write for theater as well. So being a part of it and understanding it, I probably
gives you a big boost.
Yeah.
Big boost having knowledge of certain.
No, thank you for that. I'll definitely consider it. What's your vision for your future in the creative arts? Like, are there specific projects or endeavors you're particularly excited about?
So Nino Neels, music artist. I'm building that brand. I think the type of music I do, which is a bit of traditional African style because of the djembe, it's something that thousands of other artists in South Africa is doing. Although I feel like mine is a bit special, which everyone feels theirs are.
It's true.
I realized being in Germany for so long, I realized that people abroad in the Western world really appreciate that kind of music. So my live recording for Ukuthula was really just to get good content and try and market myself that side to go abroad. So I was really hoping and pushing actually to do some festivals for their summer festivals, which was the past August and those months, July, August, September, when it's summer for them. But I'm really grateful that I got to do, when it's our summer, to do this tour.
Yes. I think it's a start.
It's a start. It's a start. So really just creating more music, couple of collaborations coming out. I think 2 weeks back, another piano DJ released something. 2 tracks on there. I got to lay down some drums.
It's dope.
So really just grow the new brand. The organization that I'm with, Transformation Freedom, to actually grow them as well, grow artists or identify something in some of them, and really try to grow and push. And then that's basically it in the art space.
No, that's dope. That's like great plans. I'm excited to see all of that as it unfolds. What advice do you usually give kids, and what advice would you give someone who wants to do what you do?
Practice. I think if you think
So
you
real.
want to do, no, practice, because that builds confidence.
Mm.
That builds confidence, and it really helps. But practice. When I'm back in Reha Park, I feel like a little celeb, because that's how they treat me. But it's just because of practice again, you know. When I go to perform in other places, people are, oh, that's great. No, it's just practice. It's putting in the time, putting in the hours, working through, and the creative side of it just comes through, you know. There's sometimes when I play and there's a bit of creative vibes coming. Oh, that's nice when I play back or listen to some things. But it comes from that. You need to practice. There's no shortcut.
Yeah, I'm saying that's so real because like that's me. I've been calling myself out because at one time I'm usually working on multiple things and I end up not having time to actually master like one thing. And no man, like being a jack of all trades, it's not always like good because I feel like what you're saying about practice, for instance, the poetry or the writing or the whatever, if I was doing it every day, I know that right now I wouldn't be in the level that I'm in. I would be like maybe 3 levels up or something like that. So I'm saying it's so real because it's personal. I'm feeling it personally.
Future poetry is so dope.
Thank you. The famous question, what is your why?
What is my why? It's passion, and I think it's always passion that drives me. I think the love for the arts, the love for what I'm doing, and really just the yearn for more information to be filtered through in our grassroots levels, our communities. That's really what drives. That's what I'm doing. In Reha Park currently, myself and a few friends have something called Melodies and Verses, which you were part of. It was one of those spaces where we wanted to create just different arts, talents, from your
It's amazing.
your fine arts guys to your tap dancers, and really bring them in that space for people to enjoy.
And when was the last one?
The last one was special. The last one was 2 weeks ago. We were actually raising funds for a little girl who's got a condition called plastic anemia. Plastic anemia, something like that. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. But it's basically just a condition where the body doesn't produce any blood cells anymore. So the red blood cells, which is for good oxygen, the white is that fights off any diseases, and the body is not producing that. So she constantly needs to go and get new blood, and it's tough. So
I can't imagine.
So myself and a few other guys in our community who's also in the art space came together. We hosted another Melodies and Verses. We raised a good amount of money, but it's not enough because it's a constant in and out of hospital for a weekly dosage that you need and so forth.
Gosh, man. I hope something. I don't even know what to hope, because things like this should be free, especially for kids. Like if you're under 18 and you can't work legally, where are you expected to get money to treat like critical conditions? It's
I think in her case, it's you know, there's a lot of blood banks and stuff around for adults. For a child to donate blood, they need parents' consent and all this, and it's tough for another parent to say, I think you need to go and donate blood, to the kid. So it's a different, because she's a kid and she needs the same blood type around her age as well. So it's her conditions are a bit different.
I hope she finds help somehow. I really hope so. I'm gonna ask you a few questions that you're gonna answer as quick as you can.
Okay.
If you could collaborate with any musician, dead or alive, who would it be?
Yeah.
One.
Fela Kuti. Can I give a few?
Okay. Because it's you, Nino.
Fela Kuti. How can I forget one of my legends' names? But Beatenberg, they are alive. I love their music. And then Oliver Ndukudzi. Shame, man.
Definitely.
So rest in peace. But yeah, those.
No, when you said Fela first, I expected the third one. I did. Favorite drumming memory?
There's so many. There was one stage in Germany, playing one show. I can't remember which one it was, but it was with one of my best friends, Djembe. He's currently part of a duo group called Tisuka, who's doing Afro Tech or Afro House. I was playing on stage with him on that show, and that was dope. I really loved that one.
That's dope. A place on your travel bucket list?
One. There's so many.
One.
If it's one, it's just Africa.
Where
That's all.
Africa?
You see it now.
Where do you want to start? Okay, Africa, but where do you want to start in Africa?
I want to do Kilimanjaro. I want to climb it.
Do you trust yourself? You can get up there.
Deaf.
It's not just the distance, but also the conditions up there. They are not favorable.
I trust.
No, I trust you too. I'll wait for those snaps when you're up there.
Trust.
Most amazing on stage moment.
Ukuthula, the recording of Ukuthula was most amazing. My first album was a live recorded album. That was my special.
Wow. A surprising talent or skill that you have. We've discovered the tap dancing.
discovered tap dancing, painting.
Really?
Yeah. 2 weeks ago, I did my second ever painting, and I started the day before. The next day, one of my friends came in and said, "Oh, bruh, I moved into a new space." I'm like, "That's dope. Here's an art, buy it." "Oh, this is nice, you did it."
And they bought it.
Yeah.
Dope.
I mean, it was $500, but it was something.
No, that's dope. You sold your first artwork.
Second.
Oh, it was the second one selling, not the second one making.
The first one was I painted something for a fundraiser for this project, and that one, it was the first painting that went, and it was for.
I didn't know. What do you use?
You see, I don't even know those terms, but it was acrylic paint, something like that, oil paint.
Yeah, acrylic, dope. I didn't know, Nino. Didn't know. I should see. I'd like to see some of your work.
That was the only two I've done, so I need to learn and.
Yeah, if people bought it, that means it's good enough. So I would like to see it.
Both of them were paintings of the city, and for the first one was for the project, and there was a little park in the corner, and a tree, and a little boy under the tree praying. It was special. And the second one was the city with special skies and stuff. Yeah.
Well, I'd really love to see. Maybe we can even curate a show together. Who knows? I didn't know. A musical genre that you'd like to try.
High life. High life is a genre from Ghana. Lots of Nigerians are exploring it as well. My favorite bands are some Nigerian boys that grew up in London. They are called the Cavemen. They are really good high life musicians.
Wow, I've never heard of the genre. Maybe I've heard the music, but I think I'll check it out. That sounds interesting. I'll check it out. And where can people see you or find your work? Socials?
Everywhere. No, all platforms, all social media platforms. Nino Neels. That's
everywhere. Just Nino Neels. Keep it simple. Today we had the amazing and talented Nino Neels. Thank you so much, Nino, for coming. Thank you for watching and for listening. Please tune in first Thursday of the month for another episode. Please make sure that you subscribe, like, share, comment. If you would like to advertise your product or brand, please send us an email. If you would like to be a part of our community for potential collaborations, do send us an email. The email is mamaforwork@gmail.com or mamawezizwecreativeenterprise@gmail.com. This is Umama Wezizwe Sibiya, and I hope I am leaving you with a heart full of art. Thank you so much.